Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Open session comment. This meeting and all other meetings of the committee are open to the public property. In accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so that the citizenry may be aware of time, place, and agenda of this meeting. I have called the meeting to order. I read the open meeting statement. Roll call. Everyone's here but Lee. And Lee's not here on Zoom or anything either?
No,
No?
he's not. I think he had another surgery.
Okay, then Lee is back. With cause. Next, we have the agenda approval. Take a motion to approve our agenda as handed out.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion made. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion regarding the agenda approval? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Now we have the minutes of the previous meeting as handed out. Any additions or corrections by the supervisor? Last month's meeting. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Already moved to approve.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Johnson.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion, additions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Next, we have an area of approval of the September and November amended minutes. Combine the two. It is a correction regarding a spelling of our supervisor's last name. And all that is the difference on this. So I would open for a motion to
I'll make a
approve
motion
the
to approve the corrected minutes.
corrected minutes. Is there a second to that?
Second, Johnson.
A motion made and seconded to approve the amendment to September and November minutes. Once again, it had to do with the spelling of our supervisor's last name. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Public comment. Cindy, you have your sister here,
Yes.
which is nice to have.
Last time she was here, we were in the other room.
Oh, so it's been a little while now.
It's nice, doesn't it?
And we also happen to have our newest district attorney who has been it. Would you like to, Kate, just to say something?
Sure. I'm Kat Turner. A lot of you already know me, but I'm the newest district attorney, and I look forward to working with all of you moving into the future. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to stop by the office. My door is absolutely always open, and I look forward to meeting everyone who I haven't met.
Well, welcome. And thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And next we have approval and signature of the bills. Carl, do you have anything at all in particular you want to point out to us?
These are pretty familiar. Page 2, when you see this Onsall LLC, it's close to the bottom, it's under the repair maintenance service contract. So it's our code red system. There we have use of funds with our officers and outside as far as is it wrong? No, you know, other. It's just you don't see that one all the time, but that's what that Onsall is. It's about anything else. I really don't have. Most of these are pretty familiar.
How do we do, Carl?
We doubled up. We did pretty good as far as I know. I mean, Heidi runs the bills all the way to almost February and March or whatever, but I think we're in pretty good territory. We had some of our capital has not been used up to date because of the squad cars and some of the other projects, and we're already trying to price out or request for proposal and then request for bid on the carpet. So we'll wait, we'll try to get that in. It'll probably be targeted for probably end of the month or February on that. So, but otherwise, the budget was good this year. Again, on page 8, you'll see that the WEX bill, which is our gas bill, was doubled up for November and December. It fluctuates. I mean, I look at that up, down. So. And on the next page, on page 9 at the bottom, our new replacement drones are, they're actually the active drones came in also.
So you see the two separate charges there. One is for the interior drone, it's basically a top turtle drone that we can prevent from sending somebody into a building. We're gonna send technology in now. It's working no light, speakers, basically you can hear what's going on, see what's going on. Second one, the Fataltown drone, that is the replacement outdoor drone. So those have been back in service for about 2 weeks now officially.
How many of those do we have?
There's one, it's two separate drones, one for inside a building and then the other one's for outside.
We tried that. We tried when we were doing checking that one out. You know, brick building, it traveled from one end to the other, so.
Almost the entire length of a brick building. So if you can imagine residential construction, it is, search an entire house without having to send somebody into it. So there's obviously limitations to them, but it's a very useful piece of technology.
The new squad cars that arrived, if you look at page 15 of 16, the Wiser graphics handle in town. Handles our graphics and graphics in some of our squads. Well, some of them already had it in Madison, if you're equipping, but that's who does our graphics. And general communication does our cars, so. Have any other ones?
Any questions for Carl from the supervisors? Comments? Yes, Mr. Kevin.
To do with the bills, but I'm kind of curious on these drones. Oh, you got an inside drone, you said. Explain how it gets inside, how do you,
So that's basically the only requirement that drone needs is an opening into the building, whether it's a broken window, a forced open door, a door that was left open. It's about this big around and about that tall, so I need an opening that big to get into the building. So we can also, I mean, the capabilities are unbelievable. You can have somebody hiding in a suspended ceiling. If there's a tile out of that suspended ceiling, I could clear the section or area above us right now. So it's pretty impressive what it can do. Basements, attics.
It's made to run into walls,
Yep,
ceilings, and
so-
keep going.
It's actually, they have it called a turtle mode. So if I were to take and accidentally hit it in the wall, it lands on the ground upside down, it will actually self-right itself and take back off. So the only time you're really gonna run into a problem is say it falls between a bed and a wall, where you're wedged like horizontally, vertically, and you're out of surface. So.
thank you.
In seeing that, I was thinking of two situations. When you say used for searching, it's basically where you wouldn't want to send a SWAT team member in. And we had an issue, I won't get into the deep part of it, but we had an issue with, a person with a gun in the house. You don't know alive or not, but at least we can go in without sending in the full SWAT team and see if he's laying on the sofa or whatever the case may be. We also had one of our SWAT operations down in New London area and you break open the building, but you still have nobody inside to see what you just broke open, and there was a person inside the building, so it does assist with the safety of the officer big time. You can float around in there. We had a drone at that scene south of New London, but it couldn't enter a building, so it was that type, you know, from another, I think it was another department, agency, yeah. So this was a whole new technology I've never seen before.
Oh, interesting.
Now, do officers need training on operating those?
Yes.
Yes.
And you have just a few, I imagine that would be trained.
Correct. We have, basically right now it's me and, 4 other guys. Yeah, if you have the licensing to fly the outdoor drone, you actually have, you're licensed by the FAA.
Right.
Yeah.
To be able to fly it outside. The indoor one's a little bit different because FAA cannot control what happens inside of the building. So they control the airspace. They can't have nothing to say with what goes on here. So that the indoor one's a little bit different, but there's a training program that goes with that one also.
Is it, sorry,
Go ahead.
probably a dumb question, but the indoor drone, is it bullet resistant?
No, so you always have that capability where if you have somebody that's not cooperative, they could take a tennis racket, knock it out of the air. But then at least we know if somebody's in there and if they're compliant or not at a minimum, so.
Good question.
I think I mentioned this before, Mr. Chair. My grandson's in flight school to be a commercial pilot. He's in his last year. So when he was in his second year, they were called in and asked, "You want to consider being a drone pilot?" Because these are jobs that are really available in government and all over the place. But he didn't want to, but so yeah, just training for drones.
That's right. Yeah.
It's about 36 hours training to get your license to be an outdoor pilot. So very involved. When I first got into it, I was shocked on how much it actually takes to get through it. You're about 8 hours short of getting your actual pilot's license. So
How come he's there 5 years?
Yeah.
that's not a question I can answer.
Maybe I don't want to know.
You don't wanna know. Any other questions for Carl or any comments from the supervisors? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills as handed out.
Johnson, so moved.
Second to that?
Yeah,
Or no,
second. Oh, that's right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Take turns on that. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion regarding the approval of the bills? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved on that, and we have already signed it, so Kim has that in hand. Communication center news, please.
As always, December was a little bit busier than the last couple months. We had 71,718 radio transmissions, 1,282 911 calls, 8,178 non-emergency calls, 2,953 calls for service. 911 hangups and missed dials were both up with 199 and 75. I think we're almost 40 calls, missed dials higher than we had been in previous months. And that was due to Android had a update that started to have some of the SOS features like Apple does, and it caused a lot of missed dials. The other news I have is we finally got the grant money for the next generation 911. So in the next several months, we'll have vendors in here installing equipment, and hopefully in March, it'll be live.
Any questions or comments? Supervisors? Hearing none, we thank you as always, and we'll place that on file. Next, we have corrections division, please.
199 bookings for the month. Average daily population is 216. Again, nothing out of the norm there. Ashley Disher finished her training. She's on nights now on her own.
Starting Sunday.
So good to have her on board. We completed a background on another individual. So once we get through that, keep us one short. We're still looking for one female yet. That's all I got.
Any questions or corrections, comments, or anything? Hearing none, we'll place that on file, and once again, thank you very much. Okay, detective division.
So for the detective division, the child abuse and sex offense complaints decreased in December. There were 9 in November and 4 in December. There was 1 child abuse complaint which was unfounded, and then 3 sexual assault complaints. There were no elder abuse cases reported to us in December. There were 2 burglaries and 11 thefts in December. And the detectives executed or served 6 search warrants. 3 were residential, 1 was a cell phone, 1 involved getting into a gun safe, and the other one that was involved was another cell phone. Narcotics division, they conducted a residential search warrant operation in southeast Waupaca County. 1 subject was arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including a probation violation, felon in possession of a firearm, and the rest of them listed there. And there were additional charges have been filed against a female party who also resided at that residence. And she has been charged with maintaining a drug trafficking place party to a crime, and some of the others listed there as well. They also assisted the Waupaca Police Department with a residential search warrant. And they assisted Portage County Sheriff's Office on 2 separate occasions with 2 separate residential search warrants. Methamphetamine was seized from 1 residence, and evidence related to a methamphetamine along with multiple offenders were taken to jail at the other residential search warrant. So they've been busy.
Mistreating animals. What was that? If you can divulge anything.
No.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Maybe you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I just thought I'd ask. Any other comments or questions at all from supervisors? If not, we thank you and we'll place this on file. Patrol division.
Month of December 2022, reportable crashes 44, 69 last December. 0 fatalities. We had 2 fatalities and 1 crash last December. Vehicles involved 59 compared to 92. Injured 19, 25 last December. Crashes involving drinking 0. We had 6 a year ago. Year-to-date numbers. Reportable crashes for 2022, 396. 1 year ago, 454. Fatalities, 3 compared to 9, and that's in 3 crashes compared to 7 crashes. And those numbers I'd like to highlight, that's a considerable drop from what we had last year. I do have an asterisk on that because I do not believe that's counting the one we talked about a month or so ago, that person was in a hospital and died 20 days or so later. And the state patrol's handling that, but I didn't see that in the state numbers yet, that turned into a fatal in their paperwork. So that's probably more realistic, 4 and 4 for the year, where I grabbed my numbers from that wasn't updated yet. Nonetheless, it's still half of what we had last year, and hopefully we do less than half this coming year. Traffic arrests, 255. Year-to-date, 4,222. 1 year ago, 241 and 3,941. OWI or drunk driving arrests, 16 for a yearly total 179. Last year we had 4 and 149 for the year. Canine involvements for the month, 21. Year-to-date, 194. 1 year ago, 30 and 182 for the year. There was not a SWAT call out. Patrol car mileage about 87,000. Yearly numbers for mileage is 1,097,975. That's really all I have.
Comments, questions? Hearing none, I will place it on file. Thank you. And we'll move on to records division. Jim.
Nothing too much. We had quite a bit of donations for canine and dive team there. Also shop with a cop. I see that I made a typing error there, but it's $568 for shop with a cop.
Any questions for Kim? If not, place on file. And we'll move on to Earl, Chief Deputy.
Really don't have much. Sheriff would like to been here. He had vacation scheduled, so took over for that. I'm sure he'll be back at the next meeting. Really, I I know when we were talking about the budget, that's all I had for highlights as far as carpet and such, but I really don't have anything else.
It's all right to have a quiet
Yes,
meeting.
as far as Christmas and the holidays, sheriff's department's was quiet. I didn't get called out during that. And I said to somebody, and they always ask, how are your New Year's? And I go clear back to my patrol days. I don't think I've had a busy night clear back to when the beach club was was down there about a parking issue, but you know, we have additional staff out there and such, but nothing turned up. You can always knock on wood after the fact, but it was pretty good as far as New Year's and Christmas. So.
Oh, yeah.
Point
Yes,
of
sir.
information. We talk about grants for certain departments. I'm wondering, are you guys still working on grants for the body cameras for the officers? I mean, is there money floating around that might be available for that?
Either grant or not, the sheriff is quite adamant about getting it. So, I think that train's going down the tracks as far as somehow acquiring them in the near future.
Oh, good for you guys.
Either through grants, through the budget, or some other means, but yes.
And they are fairly costly.
Yeah, storages.
It depends on the company. Either you pay a lot for the unit or you pay a lot for storage. You pay a lot either way. So one way or the other, they're gonna get you.
I mean, we have examples in the county you could check with, like
Yes.
London and Waupaca.
Absolutely. But I actually have there should be either coming today or tomorrow, a demo unit already, so.
And it also impacts the in cars. I mean, if you could meld them together, that's the best case scenario for usage, because you're using the same companies and such, so.
How many are looking at?
Total for every squad, we were talking right around the 25 to 27 number. So
And how much each?
depends. Like I said, we're still looking at different options right now. The one that we are looking towards, the actual unit, is fairly cheap. The storage is not fairly cheap.
Yeah.
So again, it's either apples or oranges, but you're paying for one of them, one way or another.
Pay me now or pay me later.
Correct. Correct.
Storage is a big expense on anything. I mean, just what our Stillmen are, all the servers and all that stuff, it's all big money.
So putting a figure on the question I asked, approximately how much?
Roughly $5,000 per unit. Okay. Ballpark, but then again, it's an all on how they charge you to use their.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Do you have anything from the sheriff you wanted to bring up or anything?
No, it's, he was just thankful that, you know, for the year that turned out, and he's hoping for another better year, you know, and after the election, next 4 years, so.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And we'll move along for medical examiner's report.
All right, so for natural deaths, we had a total of 47, 26 for hospice, 9 were house deaths, 5 were ER, 3 nursing homes, and 4 cremation permit only. We had 3 accidental, 1 was a male driver, in a car accident, 1 was a male choking, and a female who has a head injury, 1 suicide, and 1 is pending an autopsy, for a total of 52 deaths, 12 were burials, 40 cremations. That's it.
Very good. Yes, sir.
Female, with the male choking, did they arrest the wife? I was wondering, I didn't know.
I don't think so. It happened on defense.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for our medical examiner? I did speak with the Department of Health and Human Services Director. And in March, we will be probably talking and getting to the situation where we have basically indigent burial that our medical examiner was very kind to take over the role of finding out what needed to be done and have this person. Yeah. Versus generally in the past that. Involved that. We're gonna get together with them so we can do a policy procedure on that. Their department and not. Let you be aware that I spoke with the director on that. Any other questions or comments regarding medical examiner? Anything for them? For her, I should say. If not, we'll place that in file. We have a resolution in front of us regarding a donation. And it's resolution number 36 for years 23, 24. And it's a donation of substance from the Waupaca County Sheriff's Office. It's the Waupaca County's policy requires resolution by the County Board of Supervisors to accept any donation over $1,000. Now therefore it be resolved that the Waupaca County Board of Supervisors accepts $1,000 from Graveyard Auto and Towing for the purpose of supporting the Waupaca County Sheriff's Office dive team, as well as $1,500 from Brian Blazinski, sound right? And Lena Kraus for the purpose of supporting the Waupaca County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit. Can I have a motion to accept this donation, please?
Johnson, so move.
Is there a second to that?
Party second.
Party seconds? Motion made second to accept the resolution, which is a donation. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. And any supervisor has a report of any training or anything that they wish to comment at this moment, this time? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Kevin moves to adjourn.
Is there a second to that?
Johnson.
So moved. We are adjourned.
Just set a record, Mr. Chair.
I know. I was watching.
Somebody tell the sheriff.